Hello, I'm Caitlin Carter, and you're watching Studio Sessions with Music Times. Today's guest is Lowland Hum, a husband and wife folk duo who just released their EP, Four Sisters. Welcome, guys.
Hey, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, of course. So, for those who aren't so familiar with your work, can you give us a little bit of background on how you guys came together? I mean, you're married, so kind of your whole story.
Okay.
So we met in North Carolina. I had moved back there I was in a band that was based in Nashville for a few years, and I moved back to North Carolina. While I was gone in Nashville, Lauren had become friends with all these people that I knew since childhood, and I was kind of like, who's the new girl?
Yeah.
And anyway, we started kind of hanging out sort of when I got back to North Carolina, but I heard her singing she wasn't singing like in front of everyone at this party, but she was singing along to a song.
Just to myself.
At a party.
People do.
And I was like, what is this harmony on this song? It's so beautiful. I've never heard it, and I knew the song.
Mm.
And I turned around, and it wasn't actually on the recording. It was her, and
So.
she thought I said, well, because our memories differ at that point. So she thought I said, you should sing with me before I even introduced myself. But I remember saying like, hi, I'm Daniel, and your voice is so beautiful, and things like that.
Maybe that's where it's all in your head. And
Yeah,
it blurted out as sing with me.
So we ended up not singing for a while after that. But
Yeah.
but once our relationship became somewhat serious, she recorded on something I was working on, but only on a few songs because I didn't know if it was going to last, the relationship. And anyway, then once we got married, she was on every song, and
Yeah.
Lowland Hum was kind of born from
Yeah,
from that.
once we started writing together, we decided we should operate under a different name, not just Daniel Levi Guns.
Yeah.
So.
So being married and also, touring together, is there, do you kind of separate that life, or is it all kind of melded into one thing?
It's all one thing.
So you're like a duo and then a married duo as well.
We're just together.
Do you guys ever just
like
need space apart, or is it kind of, you just enjoy being able to have the same job essentially and be on the road together all the time?
I enjoy that we get to work together and be together as much as we are, which is pretty much 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm an introvert, so sometimes I need alone time.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm tired of being around Daniel.
Yeah, we're somehow still best friends even after 3 years of doing this constantly. So sometimes we're amazed by that too, but we still are really having a great time. And when we do discover something separately, even if we're just one person goes to run an errand, we're so excited. We're like, check out this thing I learned that you don't already know.
Yeah.
Or we read separate books and we'll be
Yeah.
like, I know something because I read it and you weren't there.
Yes.
So it's been good. It's been really good.
But then you're also
Yeah.
there for all the cool moments together
Right.
most of the
Yeah.
time. So
I used to tour by
special.
myself, and
Mhm.
that's probably one of my favorite things about it is I can just look at her during a weird thing or a fun thing or an amazing
Mhm.
thing, or I can say, remember that time this happened, or
Mhm.
we'll try any show one time. If anyone reaches out to us and says, will you do this kind of show, we'll try it. So we've played a bunch of really strange things. A few months ago, someone asked us if we would play. They wanted their in-laws to meet for the first time at a Lowland Hum show. So they asked us to come to where they live and do a show so that their in-laws could meet in that setting somehow.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, that is the weirdest thing anyone's ever
That's
asked me to
very
do.
orchestrated.
I'll try it one time, and it was really intimate, very small, but
It was special,
it was cool.
though. It was cool that
we
they
were
invited
thankful to
us
be
in.
there, but
Okay.
it just. So anyway, having that shared memory is we laugh
Yeah.
at that sometimes. We're like, can you believe that? But.
So your new EP, can you tell me a little bit about how that came about? And I mean, I guess it follows up your debut album, but I kind of read that you went into it maybe thinking this was going to be a full length, and then these 3 songs just kind of seemed like their own little universe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit more about? Hopefully, I didn't just sum it all up.
No.
There's probably more we could share. Yeah, so it started out, we were writing songs, and then we realized these 3 songs really stuck together in a way that we could throw them into a whole full-length album, but it might be nice to keep them as their own separate little collection. So.
And when we started recording the first one, and it just had a different sound than a lot of the other stuff we were writing, and then all the songs had the same characters, and then Lauren got this idea for these videos to accompany the songs, and so it became kind of this fully formed
Project.
kind of it was it all hung together, and then we really liked the way that this guy who mixes albums in Portland mixed this other album, and then he agreed to do these 3 songs, and we're like, whoa! So it all kind of came together that way,
And then the title Four Sisters. Can you talk a little bit more? I mean, I've read a little bit about it, but
people always ask, why are there 3 songs of 4 sisters?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The first song has 2 of the sisters in it. The second song has 2 more of the sisters, and the third song is kind of like a reflection on the stories told in the first 2 songs.
Okay.
So it's all 4 sisters are there and accounted for.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
the relationship of sisters is really interesting to us. I have a sister, and Lauren has a brother. So, but particularly 2 sisters and more than that as well. It's just we know a lot of sisters, and the way that they relate is really interesting and I think unique. And
Their capacity, it seems like their capacity to connect with other, like, I've noticed that women that have sisters, their ability to connect with other women, it's like deeper or faster or something, and that's really intriguing to us. So we were kind of exploring concepts of isolation in the context of sisterhood.
Nice.
If that makes any sense.
it does make sense.
Yeah, I think so. And so, can you tell me a little bit about your songwriting process then? Do you guys write everything together, or does someone kind of come up with an idea and then you add input, or how do you guys go about it?
Kind of, it's different every time. So sometimes, I'm newer at songwriting, so Daniel previously has come up with like most of the material and then involved me to make decisions further down the road, but we started writing together. Sometimes we'll start from scratch together with an idea, and it's kind of a labor, and we're like really going for one thing together, and then sometimes Daniel will have words and a guitar part, or I'll have words but I don't play the guitar, so you know, but we're both involved every time now.
I just learned recently about Lauren that she likes it best when, if I have an idea and it starts to get momentum, if I involve her as close to the origin point as possible, she feels more represented. So recently we've been trying to do all the songs that way. And I've really enjoyed that, and think we've come up with things that are very interesting and that would not have happened the other way, which often is I'll start a song and get kind of somewhere pretty substantial, or a verse and a chorus or something, and then she'll come in and change them. And she writes songs in a very interesting way where, because she doesn't play a melodic instrument, she will see the whole melody in her imagination like it is a 3D ribbon.
Oh, wow.
And so then then we'll try to place chords underneath the melody. Like I just try different chords until she's like, that's what I'm hearing. Yes, yes. And it takes a long time, but it's like we write different chord changes that way than I think would happen.
Yeah.
For like a guitar player.
Yeah, because you have the melody
things.
or you have the sound before
Yeah.
you add that melody. So I was going to ask also, your shows are very intimate, or as some of them at least are very, very intimate. And I know you guys have handmade lyric books. So do you see your songs as like sing-alongs, or is that more just to read along so they kind of get the story along with the sounds?
Or the second thing you said, people have tried to sing along before, but usually they don't know the music, so they're like interrupting us. Like they're cutting us off with. They're like trying.
You're like competing.
Yeah.
Mainly one person who had some drinks. Had many drinks was.
You're like, this isn't karaoke.
They're like watching our mouth and like, and like trying to sing, and you're like, that's not really gonna work. But,
it's more just so people can like take in the content.
Yeah. I mean, there's sometimes where you go to shows and you're like, this sounds wonderful. I have no idea what they're saying. Right. It's great.
Right.
So you hand make those?
We both did in the past.
We used to hand sew each one.
Yeah.
But it would take us like 2 weeks.
Wow. Do you give them out, or do they give them back?
We get them
back.
Okay. Try to
gotcha.
Sometimes people are like, we're like, no.
Like, these aren't a souvenir. I mean, you could sell them theoretically as merch or something.
Yeah.
So what do you guys, following up this EP, are you going to have like a part 2 or a full length, or what's in the works?
We've been writing for a full length, and we're excited about that.
Nice. And will these songs be part of that, or is this going to remain its own thing?
I think it'll be its own thing. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming and talking to us. And you guys will be performing a song for us. Do you know what you're going to...
Yeah, I think we're going to do Four Sisters Part 1.
Okay, cool. Well, Music Times viewers, don't forget to check out Four Sisters. And will you guys be on tour at all?
Yes, we're playing, we're playing Rockwood tonight.
Yes.
But, and we have just 2 more shows this year, and that's it.
Okay. Well, look out for all of that, and thanks for coming.
Thanks, Caitlin.
All right.
Thanks.